when you come from nothing and when you try to create something, especially around here, you have to go big or go home. It's all in, all in the wording. Failure has never been an option. Not one day in my life has failure ever been an option.
Welcome back to the Level Up Life, Muscle and Mindset Mastery. I'm your host, Adam. Got Waz here with me, co-hosting as usual. Something been weighing on my mind a lot is purpose, right? So think about, what is your purpose in life? What are you here to do? Mine's to genuinely just help people, and I found my niche with the fitness industry. I get to live my life helping people get in better shape, hit their fitness goals. Today, we have Crystal Burditt here, and she's living her purpose. So tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I do a little bit of a lot.
Yeah.
I own, run, and operate the Cozy Cats Café. We're a duplex, so 328 is an actual registered animal shelter. It's the only other registered animal shelter in Midland County besides the Humane Society, which is very different. A lot of people don't consider us an animal shelter because it's a one-woman show. We work without any government grants, funding, anything like that. And we bring in a lot of other things, like we work with a lot of special characteristics, a lot of autism. We host and facilitate support groups, whether they be for domestic violence or for neurodivergency of any kind or things like that. It's just, we have a purpose on one side to help adopt out local rescue cats, and we've adopted out 130 of them so far.
Yes.
Since last April 1st. Yep, love it. And on the other side, we make a difference every day by making an impact in the community with those with special characteristics, autism, ADHD, OCD, BPD, PTSD, you name it. We're really a place for people who don't have a place. And with the benefit of having over 40 local artists in there, our youngest being only 7 years old and our oldest being 82. So it's a great way to help the community on one side while we amp up to get our food license and things like that. And on the other side, to be a registered animal shelter and help make a difference in the community that way.
So you're located in Sanford.
Yes, 330 East Saginaw Road in Sanford, Michigan. You'll notice by the big pink sign when you go down Saginaw Road, we had Creations by Generations, which was a wonderful artist, friend of ours, who actually created the sign for us, which was just a blessing.
It's very cool. So the neurodivergence thing, that's really cool. How did you get linked up with that?
Honestly, probably from the beginning of my story. What I would say makes maybe a third of the way in my story. Because I came here from Ohio. I came here about 6 years ago, knew one person in Michigan, and that was the person from a video game I played who told me about the shelter house. And for those who don't know, that's it's a shelter for domestic violence. It's something that changed my life. And remember, domestic violence could be anywhere from your home life to a marriage to so many different aspects.
A roommate, right?
Yeah. It's quite an epidemic, I like to say, because it is so not talked about and so needs to be talked about. So I'm in the shelter house, and I was trying to find, what am I going to do with my life? I had $1 to my name, no car, clothes on my back, and covers off my bed. And I needed to find, like I said, what I was meant to do. Now I'm a cancer survivor, domestic violence survivor. I've even fallen asleep at the wheel when I was working 3 jobs. And the only thing that stopped me from going into a lake was the tree I hit. So I truly believe that this is meant to be my purpose. So I'm in the shelter, and I saw that people had animals, and I was like, wait a minute, you can have your animal, here? They're like, yeah, if you had one before. So that's when Calcifer came in the picture there for me. And I saw the therapeutic benefit he did, but not only for, the women and children, but also for the neurodivergent there, for the autistic ones, for the broken families who didn't really know how to piece together, the right dynamic of, I don't know how to even say it, the right dynamic of just coming together and understanding one another. For those who know, autistic individuals especially aren't the best with communication skills. I myself am ADHD. I know, hard to sell, right? But it allows them to open up without thinking about it. So as I'm seeing, the difference he's doing for myself and the women and the children, I'm also seeing the difference he's doing for individuals with autism. And then I have a heartbreaking conversation with a mom. So it took me about a year and a half to get a variance in government to do this. And while I'm doing that and, trying to change the law in Midland County, I'm meeting local artists that are saying, hey, can I sit down with you? Do you need help in your cafe? And of course, this is way before, I'm anywhere near, getting ready to do it, obviously, because I'm still trying to amend government. I'm trying to raise funds,
So you had to get, was it licensing or zoning?
Zoning. I had to amend zoning. I had to change the law to do this because animal shelters aren't allowed in city limits. And I have a registered animal shelter in city
and you're
limits.
in Sanford,
Yes, I am.
City of Sanford. Okay.
Yes, I am in Midland County.
Right.
Yep. So I found out that, this one lady, I'm so sorry, I'll go back to it. She kept saying, I'd love to just sit down with you. I'd love to just sit down with you. I'm like, well, I'm a ways off it. Can we just sit down? I'm like, okay, we'll sit down. We'll have a talk. I've met her at Big B's. I love coffee. So she had a helper with her, and I didn't realize at the time that she was on the spectrum. And we're sitting down, and she says, I just want to say thank you so much because you're the first one who's actually sat down with me for an interview. And I'm like, well, the job market's tough. It's hard to get out there. And then she dove into it a little bit more, and she said, for people who are on the spectrum and with neurodivergency, she said, it's very rare for anyone to want to hire us. She said, or even give us a chance. We always hear, and this was a whole group of them, she was telling me, that, had this conversation and were going out for jobs and things like that. And they were like, I keep hearing the fact that, it's a good fit, but we don't think you're the right fit. Do you know what I'm saying? And after you constantly hear that, I was like, I have a place, number one, that is great for healing, great for helping, great for love, great for laughter. Why not I try to incorporate, make it in a place for people who don't have a place? Right. Which is, it's incredible. We keep lighting at a certain level. We keep the music at a certain level. It's just, we keep their colors, we keep them for calmer sensory issues and things like that. So there's a lot of thought that goes into every little thing that I do. But when I saw the need is when I was like, there's a way we can combine all this.
Yeah, and I think it's important to highlight. So I know someone who has mild autism. I'm naturally extroverted. So when him and I engaged in the beginning, it was, I was talking a lot and I could tell he was a little bit uncomfortable. So I backed off talking, which the silence is uncomfortable for me. Mm-hmm. So it was a give and take, I talked, and then sat in silence too. So I tried to balance it out to where it was growth for both of us, not Absolutely. Just me talking and making him uncomfortable. So I think, and I have a nephew that's autistic who he's nonverbal, and I've been in gas stations where, people, just random patrons of the gas station have said, need to shut that kid the F up. And I'm like,
it's sad.
Because he was stimming. Mm-hmm. The lights are really
Absolutely.
loud and all these things. So
Absolutely.
I think it's really cool you're doing that, giving them a place that's sensory friendly.
Yeah, we have different areas that help sensory. Like, for example, we've got giant bean bags that are like furry and that they can just lay on and just kind of feel, and down to different rooms and stuff that we have or different activities. I just wanted to make a place that more people felt, comfortable. Because mm-hmm. you got to think about it. There's a lot of autistic kids, right? But what do those autistic kids grow up to be? Teenagers and adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it just becomes more and more misunderstood. But now I like to say I collect the most awesome people because I have the greatest group of people who come in there every day and just know each other. And it's not all just special characteristics. That's not what you're walking into.
No, but
I'm not saying you're walking into a place where it's, like you go into specifically for the Arnold Center, specifically for the ARC. You're going to a place where it's accepting no matter who you are.
Exactly.
As long as you like cats.
That's what I was, as you were talking. I mean, what you got set up, it's almost a no assholes allowed on the
It's
door,
not.
right?
It's not.
Where anybody
Yeah.
that comes in has that empathetic soul and the souls that you want to patronize your business.
Yes.
Because I know I struggle trying to be kind. I was telling Adam earlier today about it, where it's just like, man, it's just wearing on me. And I'm able to recognize, but it's like, I'm so fed up with it all, where it's all of a sudden, it's like they're slowly pulling me to be like them when I'm so frustrated about how they act.
Exactly.
Where I have to rein myself right back in, because you want to be around like-minded people.
Yes.
That they rule their life with kindness and being empathetic and just good people.
Exactly. And that's all we have there, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I surround myself by people who inspire me regardless of what walks of life they're in.
Amen.
I mean, you can, and if you want to do something, do it. I was so ashamed of my story. I was so ashamed that I had $1 in my name and lived in a shelter. No one even knew my story until after I had amended zoning, until after I had the building pretty much ready. And the business side isn't all the way open yet, obviously, because we're still working on our food permits and things like that. So it is difficult because we do cover every cost. Well, I say we, it's me that covers every cost. But
Well,
I
that
do
makes
it by getting
everything
creative.
take time
Yes.
too, right?
Yes. We're currently now working, though, to start our nonprofit status because we are a separate address, so it's a separate entity, 328 and 330. So 330 is the business, and we're starting to differentiate the fact that we're going to be a nonprofit animal shelter rather than a for-profit animal shelter, which the only difference, once again, is the fact that we could get a little bit more help and to be seen. But the way I did it at first, I did try to go out and work with a lot of different people. But believe it or not, they thought my idea was kind of crazy. It is a lot. There's been a lot of people who've laughed at me, a lot of people who said, there's no way, why are you, trying to do way too much? But when you come from nothing and when you try to create something, especially around here, you have to go big or go home. It's all in, all in the wording. Failure has never been an option. Not one day in my life has failure ever been an option since I've been here. I work 104 hours a week, 99 to 104 hours a week, that 5-hour difference. But it will be so much easier once we do get the business up and going, so I can hire people to help with the restaurant, so we can hire people to help with the animal shelter. Hunter's there, amazing. Hunter Allen's there every day. He's my catering manager. He's amazing. Other than that, I work with the ESA. So I have employees. I have employees who are autistic and on the spectrum and things like that, but that's about all I have. So I'm kind of excited to release the reins a little bit and, kind of be able to back off eventually like you did with your amazing co-host and friend over here. I'm looking forward to the future on it. But
yeah, it's one thing when you can do it all on your own, but when you can when you can build a solid team around you, that's what
I want.
That's the
Yes.
difference maker, because then it frees you up to continue, and you got people around you that you can rely on. Like, I'm blessed with this guy. Probably more reliable than me, to be honest. I take more days off for real.
Yeah,
but seen this quote and kind of made me think of it when you were talking about entrepreneurs, because that's what you are. Whether it's a nonprofit or for-profit, it's still entrepreneurship.
Mm-hmm.
And this billionaire, he's talking, and he's like, entrepreneurs all have one thing in common, and it's they're very passionate about what they're doing, because nobody works that much if they aren't passionate about that.
Exactly.
Right? So I think it's really cool what you're doing. I want to hear a little bit. I want to go into the domestic violence stuff. So
Absolutely.
a lot of the time people I think in general, maybe this was my old generalization, that domestic violence was primarily women.
Well, there's a
getting
lot of
abused.
misconceptions.
But it's a lot of men.
Yes.
I don't think people understand either that what's considered an assault in general under the law. So, like, if you throw something at someone, that's an assault. If you spit on them, that's an assault. And those all fall under domestic violence if they happen within the residence, correct?
Yes.
So
Whether, if you're a child or if you're an adult.
Mm-hmm.
it really is very, very sad to see. And in fact, we the shelter house was specifically for women and children, but there are shelters out there for domestic violence that are for men as well, because you do see a lot of domestic violence. It doesn't matter who you are. No one would have thought that I was coming from where I was coming from. I was ashamed. When I decided to tell my story was last year after the Olive Garden incident, which was super sad and unfortunate, of course, when there was an incident that a gentleman came in the Olive Garden and, as you know, there was a shooting, and we don't have to get into much further than that, but it stemmed from a domestic violence situation. And I said, Crystal, you're being selfish. You did all of this with nothing in a place that you weren't from amended zoning to found a wonderful purpose in life, to finding great people surrounding me, to finding a 4,700 square foot building, which I got investors on land contract to get in on my hands and knees and remodeling the building. And I mean, I have 27 years in the service industry, but that is not 27 years in the construction industry. So it's been a bit different, big difference. And of course, the business portion is to fund my passion, which is, of course, helping cats or really any animals, but in the same aspect to bring in therapeutic aspect to it as well. So even though I'm an animal shelter, I am a therapeutic animal shelter for not only individuals with special characteristics or just day to day, but to also rehome cats. And domestic violence, we bring into a lot of that because we host and facilitate domestic violence support groups twice a month. The second and fourth Monday of every month at 7:00, we host groups inside the shelter. These are women-only groups. However, I do have a couple that I work with, not on Mondays, who are not women, actually, and who just sit and talk and things like that, which is incredible to get to be able to do that and to have other individuals open up the misconception that it's just women or that you can't talk about it or that you should be embarrassed or ashamed of it. Because I'm super proud of my story now. Because if I can do this, anyone can do anything in the world they want to do, except sleep, obviously, because we don't get to do much of that around here.
I think it's important, too, to any sort of experience we have in life. Like, I'm an open book when it comes to, my time in prison and substance abuse that I had, because the way I look at it, my story, it's part of my past. It's part of who I am. So if I can live transparently, it allows me to be my authentic self, for one. And then on top of that, I'm empowering people that are listening. So I
physically and mentally.
Yeah, and I want everybody out there to experience that same empowerment when they're like, you know what? I made a mistake. I made a bunch of mistakes. I was on drugs. I broke trust from people. That stuff can be mended. Maybe not in every situation, but you can build a better life.
Absolutely.
And I want that for everyone who's struggling, whether it be like substance abuse or domestic violence or anything. And then domestic violence. So I've never personally been assaulted in the home. I've never been a victim or a perpetrator in that way. But I remember, I think it goes unlooked or often overlooked, the impact that it has on the person that is, they're just maybe witnessing it.
Absolutely.
I remember very vividly a couple moments in my childhood where the amount of fear I had in the first experience, I was maybe 8, and I watched my dad grab my mom by her shirt on her shoulders here and shake her like this, which, I mean, it's seared, burned right into my memory. I can't forget it. It's always going to be there. And I consider that it was traumatic to me.
Oh, absolutely.
So then another time, a few years later, as I was getting older, I think I was 11 at the time. This is right before my parents split. And I watched my dad, again, throw my sister on the ground into a pile of laundry. And instead of fear, this time I had a bunch of anger. And I actually tried to assault him to protect my sister. Now, this whole experience, I remember both of them very vividly. So that the point I'm making is that the witnesses that are involved in those experiences, you know, that can be very traumatic, and even, you know, substance abuse was involved on my dad's side. He was drinking. He was an alcoholic. He was a drunk because he never found recovery. And then, you know, how that can contribute to behaviors of the witness, or, you know, I'm sure, like, the people that experience it, the trauma you go through and those emotions in the moment, how it can cut a pretty deep scar. So how did you, I know you went to the shelter house. Did they have counseling services? Did they
They
provide?
did. I grew up a lot like you did, though. So I mean, I was used to it from day one, pretty much. And it's sad. It either gets normalized or overlooked, or people, it affects them so much that it just debilitates them. You'd see people who wouldn't come out of their rooms for weeks, but then again, you'd see people who would start to figure out what they like to do again. Okay, this is one of my favorite things. I know, I just have to say this. One of my last domestic violence support meetings, I'm a little unorthodox. I'm a lot unorthodox in a lot of things I do. It's just who I am. We do activities. We do crafts. We do fun things like that. So when everyone comes in, I have them write on 3 pieces of note paper. What do you want to do? What's something you've always wanted to do? And 90% of the time, they can't figure out what they want to do. Because they've spent so long forgetting who they are, just in the trauma of either physical or emotional or mental, or even just from watching, because sometimes they'll have their kids and their kids won't know because things have shook them so hard. But I will never forget 2 meetings ago, I had this young lady who didn't know what she wanted. The first note card, she had to ask somebody, like, hey, what should I put on here? The second note card, she's like, well, I'll just put something on. The third note card, she looked around and said, no, we're not doing this. By the end of the meeting, she had that third note card already filled out what she wanted to do, just by hearing experiences, just by connecting with individuals, that were like her, or themselves, I should say. And it is such an incredible experience to see how blossomed individuals will get, because you'll go in thinking, I don't know who I am. I don't know what music I like. I don't know what to do. I would have no idea that I would, wanted to run an animal shelter and then work with individuals on the spectrum and things like that. But here we are. You really find who you are when you are basically thrown in a place where you don't know anyone. I didn't even talk to my family for about 2.5 years. So you were talking about going to Midland County, knowing no one in Midland County, having no car, having no money, having no support, and thinking that you are just worthless. PTSD, broken, just broken. To going to seeing the therapy that I got from the shelter house, how they started to slowly uplift me, how they started to slowly help me find the resources I needed, from getting a cell phone and finding out about cat cafes existing, to looking at, the resources that were brought in from food and litter to help those who have pets in the shelter house, and discover the fact that, the therapeutic benefits it can do. So it's been a snowball of just excitement since I've landed here, I should say, 6 years ago. Every day is something new. Every day is something exciting. Every day I learn something. But I've been finding more and more that even with all the negativity out there, I surround myself by the most incredible people. I've met the most incredible people. Adam, you and your wife, Amanda, I adore. Met through wonderful friends. Paula, who is
Paula.
Paula,
and
I
Richard.
love you. Yeah, oh my goodness. Talk about an inspiration. Never did I think that I would be a woman business owner, being supported by other women business owners who just want to see other people succeed. I mean, I love everyone. I dislike 0 people because I just want to make the world a better place. Your actions aren't going to dictate my actions. Your actions aren't going to dictate how I treat you, but they will dictate the energy that I eventually spend on you, and things like that. But this has just been such a blessing. a hard blessing. Every day reminds me to stay humble. Every day, you know, you're thinking, okay, how are we going to get this next bill? Or, okay, this my whole air conditioning just went out in this building I got that's 4,700 square feet. How am I going to, you know, how am I going to do it? But I just figure that I'm sorry, not figure. I believe with all of my heart that this is my purpose. And as long as I keep doing good, as long as I keep surrounding myself by people who want to be better and who want to help people, then this is unstoppable.
Yeah.
And I'm just so blessed to be here right now.
Now let's take a moment to thank our sponsors, Pine Haven Assisted Living. At Pine Haven Assisted Living, they believe in making every resident feel at home. Nestled in the peaceful countryside of Hemlock, Michigan, they offer compassionate care in a family-like environment where residents can enjoy independence with the support they need. Registered nurse-owned and operated, their team provides personalized care, home-cooked meals, and a range of activities to ensure your loved ones continue to live a fulfilling life. They also have alpacas and llamas on site to enrich the lives of their residents. Experience the warmth and comfort of Pine Haven. Call them today at 989-295-6632. That's 989-295-6632. Or you can visit them on their website at pinehavenassistedliving.com. That's pinehavenassistedliving.com for more information. Now, back to the Level Up Life. And I think that going into the cat rescue world, I remember it was during COVID, they eliminated, basically they shut down spay and neuters. There's deemed as a non-essential surgery. And I remember watching my specific neighborhood. We went from 2-3 strays out around to literally within 6 months, there were hundreds, it seemed like.
That's because one cat on an average lifetime can produce 530 cats.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a huge thing right there.
And I love cats. I love dogs.
do I.
I love all animals. I think how an individual treats an animal says a lot about their character. I love my wife for that. She's got such a beautiful heart.
She does.
But in the same same context, in society, we have the DNR that does a lot of management of wildlife, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cats are domesticated, and I think there's an overpopulation problem.
Oh, absolutely.
But, I don't feel like it's not in my heart to just go kill a bunch of animals because there's too many of them, right?
Exactly.
Especially pets. So, I think a lot of shelters kind of popped up in that time because there was a necessity for it. A lot of shelters, a lot of rescues, that type of thing. Did any of that contribute to you, or?
Honestly, I was in the shelter the whole time. Almost through the beginning of COVID, I was in my marriage.
Okay.
So there was a big transition in moving there, and then being in a place where I knew no one. It didn't affect me as much because, number one, I didn't go out. Number two, I didn't watch TV. Number three, I didn't talk to anybody. All I did was work. All I did was, figure out how I can, what my purpose was.
Create a life for yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, the need of seeing so many cats probably contributed towards the fact that I wanted to point the direction towards there. But I don't think that I just didn't have enough experience being actually in the trenches with everyone at that time because I was locked away trying to figure out who I was at that moment.
Find your roots.
But yes, you are right. When I did decide what I wanted to do, I reached out and said, "Hey, would you want to work with me? Would you want to work with me?" I would get comments, "You're not a nonprofit, so we don't want to work with you." And I wasn't a nonprofit at first because I was trying to do too much. I was trying to help too many people. I was trying to work with the autism community. I was trying to work in the domestic violence community. I was trying to work in the rescue community, and I've successfully done it for over a year. They say 20% of small businesses fail in the first year. We made it a full year. And my business basically just pays for the animal shelter that we run and support with our business not being all the way fully up yet. So I'm excited to see where it's going to be, but I am seeing a lot of rescues start to come together a little bit more. A lot of rescues reach out and say, hey, what do you think about doing this? What do you think about doing this? So from all of those single rescues, I think it's going to be great in the collaborations or cat collaborations that will come to it.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
So I remember we had a couple strays, and we called up to Hats in Isabella County, and they said, yeah, we'll put you on the wait list. My wife said, well, how many people are ahead of us? And they said there were like 700 and some. And it's like, it's problematic,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So I know a lot of people are like, oh, cats, just kill them. That's fine. That's not. It's not in my heart. So
no, mine either. In fact, we have a great success rate in adopting out the cats that have the harder times getting adopted. For example, in most shelters, 67% of the cats that are euthanized are black cats. Mm-hmm. And a lot of them would just because they're black cats. Over 1/3 of the cats we've adopted out have been black cats. We adopt out seniors. We don't have any cats with disabilities. I mean, we adopt out the cats that are harder to adopt because you get to see their personality. Our cats are never in cages. It's a lot of work running the shelter. And that's why it does dishearten me a little bit to think, oh, Cozy Cats Café is a business. Is it really a business? We have 25 cats at a time, which are never in cages, which we have to fully provide love, care, and support for. I mean, that's a shelter. The business we're trying to get going to so I can pay for that more. But it's sad to see, but exciting to see once again the fact that our shelter has very unusual numbers for certain things that we do, which is cool.
Yeah. My wife has a special place in her heart for the black cats. She loves them.
Oh, they're great. I can't keep black cats in.
The last cat we had, and we had a bunch of strays, and I was gone, and the wife, well, I think there was 4 of them originally, and I was waiting and waiting. I'm like, all right, the gray one. No, not the gray one, the black one. It's a black one? Where the hell did the black one come from? And that cat was gangster as shit.
They're amazing.
I love that cat. We're usually, and I don't not like cats, but kittens are awesome. And then it's like, a cat, because it goes off and it just does its own thing. It's not like a dog. So it's just like, whatever. This cat was awesome. And fortunately, it got hit by a car and wrecked the wife. So we haven't had another cat yet, but that cat was badass.
Yeah. So you not only are a survivor of domestic violence, survivor of cancer.
Yes.
So what type of cancer did you have? When were you
Cervical
diagnosed?
cancer.
Cervical.
Yep. When I was in my mid-30s, I'm 41 now, but I was about 33, 34. I had got diagnosed with cervical cancer. I had a rare cancer in a rare location. Once again, I'm a go big or go home kind of person. Mm-hmm. So they did a partial hysterectomy, and because it was such a rare location, it was harder to get all of it. They decided to do a full hysterectomy. So yeah, that's 104 hours a week plus being on menopause. I just want to throw out there every single day that, we're doing what we're doing. But I believe that I was blessed with, what I could handle. So I have one very wonderfully sassy daughter. She's 18 now. It was the hardest thing in my life leaving her. She went to a private trade school. She just graduated with a full ride scholarship. She has her STNA already. She has her certified medical assistant certificate and her phlebotomist license. And she just graduated high school. I am so proud of my daughter.
Yeah.
But she does let me know every day that she's not in the cat rescue world. This is not what she wants to do. Mm-hmm. Which is, fine. I'm just happy she has her purpose. But I almost forgot where I was at with how proud of a mom I am on that one. I'm so sorry.
That's a good
With
thought to drift out of.
Yeah,
So,
it is. It is.
Well, like as far as I always think about when someone gets diagnosed with cancer, as you,
Yes,
I don't know, you know,
that's-
my wife's a cancer survivor.
Yes. I
Thyroid.
read that a little bit about her.
Full
Your wife's an
thyroid
incredible
cancer.
lady.
She, you know, and other people I know, like I had Jimmy Green on a while back. He's ×2 survivor, lung and prostate, 2 different occasions. But I'm a very empathetic person, so I try and think of like what would the person who's diagnosed, what do they go through in that moment? And when you hear the doctor walk through the door and say you have cancer, and then how do you not retreat into a shell and just curl up? You know, like it's different for everyone, I'm sure. But
My whole life, I've had to fight. Single mom, 3 kids, worked 2 jobs at a factory. We grew up sometimes ketchup and crackers hungry, and I'm not exaggerating. I can't eat eggs for a reason. I just can't do it. But I've always been a fighter. I've always had to survive something. And for me, this was just something else that, listen, if life hasn't gotten me down so far, it wasn't going to get me down. Rather than being upset with life, it gave me courage to be fed up enough to try to do something and try to make a difference. So I could let it defeat me. But then again, I could have been defeated when, first off, my grand opening was my 19-year wedding anniversary. So I was married a long time. And I told you my home situation wasn't the best when it came from, not having a domestic violence-free home from there. So I've always been a survivor. So for me, honestly, it was just something else that I needed to prove the world to, because I believe I was meant for something. If not, there should be instances that I should not be here, and yet I'm here. There shouldn't be a logical reason that I could have changed, government in Midland County when I'm coming from the shelter house doing it. There shouldn't have been a logical reason that, I found the building, a 4,700 square foot building on, land contract, and then got to remodeling and stuff. None of my life has been logical. I'm a very ideologically all over the place person, but I think that's what the world needs, is more people to be like, hey, it's okay. Hey, this isn't going to define me. Hey, if I can do this, you can do this. And I'm the perfect example, because if I can do it, once again, anyone can do anything. With my PTSD, with my ADHD, with my all over the self, with me not being able to hit the gym, honestly, ever. If I can do this, anyone can do anything. And it's just a mindset. Yeah. And I know it's hard. And I know, say, oh, depression, I'm depressed. I'm depressed. I don't get to see my daughter. I missed my daughter's 18th birthday. I see my daughter once in almost 2 years. I don't have a day off. I never have a day off. I work 104 hours every week. I have COPD. I was in the hospital Saturday morning, and I was back hosting D&D Saturday night at the cafe, so I can afford to run the animal shelter. Number one, failure is not an option. And there are so many things that it's a mindset. You just don't let it, it's not defining me.
Well, I think a lot of times survivor, that word needs changed out with warrior.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Because a survivor, you're just there.
Yeah.
Right? Lay on the couch. Just get through to the next day, the next breath, whatever.
Exactly.
Right? Warriors are
fighters.
You get through.
Yeah.
Right? And you persevere.
Yes.
You don't just survive, because
and inspire.
What good is that? I mean, it's the warrior that's fighting that's not going to be kept down. It's not just good enough just to be.
Exactly.
It's thriving and winning.
The regardless how hard.
Won't let failure be the option.
Yeah. I mean, it isn't. This is, okay, so once again, go big or go home. This business is everything to me. It's all I have. I put everything in it, I down to my home, to, putting a loan out on my car, every single thing is me. It's 600 pounds of litter alone a month that I have to come up with. So for me, if I'm depressed, I can't figure out how I'm going to figure out things, can I? If I'm laying down, I can't figure out how I'm going to go, get these cats what they need, or, get volunteers or things like that. So I do warrior's the perfect thing, and perseverance is, the name of the game, and just, yeah, surviving is a thing of the past. Now I think the world needs more warriors to, to show everyone that they can do whatever they want to do. That failure is only an option if you let it become an option. I don't know how much more rock bottom you could have hit than what I've hit. Almost anything bad you can think of, I've been through it. And I do mean almost anything bad you can think of, I have personally been through it. And yet I'm not letting it define me. Instead, I want to be inspiration. I want to be hope for those who think, I can't do this. Yes, you can.
Right. I think we all have those moments where we're just like, I don't know, you doubt it. You have that sliver of doubt that creeps in, and I think everyone experiences that from any walk of life. Even, I'm sure, let's see, Henry Ford, who started Ford, right? Or I can't think of his name, Dow. Anyway. Yeah, the Dow that started. Oh, those guys, I'm sure, at some point doubted themselves. Like, is this possible? And I think the difference between success and failure is just not giving up.
Yeah, and who you
Never
surround
giving
yourself
up.
with.
Right.
I'd rather surround myself with someone who thinks I'm crazy, but an inspiration who is going to make it, than someone who is, like, I don't think she's going to do this, or, oh, she's just a business. And how do you say that, for example, someone who says that, we're just a business when we're a shelter that has 25 cats never in cages that we're constantly,
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, because the difference between like let's just, I'll use my goal for instance. So I'm in the process of creating a business plan, and we're right on the edge of launching our online training.
It's amazing.
Where it's takes the place of, we discussed it in a previous episode, where there's this all these online trainers out there that just, they failed to deliver a quality service, and they're charging almost what should be considered theft for what they're providing. And we're right on the brink of that. And I look, and I'm setting, 5-10 year goals, and I'm huge on manifesting and
huge.
sharing my goals with people in my circle, because it helps me nail it down even more here, but then it also helps just bring it into reality. So there's people in my circle where I've shared my goals, like client count. This is what I want my staff to make. This is what I want, like down to the details. And some people will be like, it's kind of a little extreme, don't you think? You think that's even possible? And then I have other people that are like, it's awesome, dude. I'm like, you don't doubt it? And they say, no, not at all. Those are the people I want around me.
Exactly.
People that don't doubt me at all.
Exactly.
Why shoot for the moon when you can hit the stars?
Right.
Anything's possible. I mean, once again, look at, where we all were 10 years ago, 5 years ago, not sitting where we're sitting now. And we faced a lot of the struggles that, a lot of people are facing right this moment, right this very second, maybe watching this podcast, thinking, you know what, maybe I can do it. You just need that one right person to say, hey, you got this. And then it snowballs. Surround yourself by positivity. Surround yourself by people who care. Mm-hmm. My favorite thing about my place is how genuine everyone is. There is not an ungenuine individual in my cafe. It's a blessing. And I'm not saying that because I own it. I'm saying that because I hear people, when they come in the door, say, wow. Do you know what an honor it is to hear people say wow all the time? When you're, when you've fallen asleep doing carpet squares, for weeks on end, when you are thinking, okay, how am I going to finance this next thing? Because I'm going to have to come up with some finances, and I'm going to have to get creative. So I'm going to start looking out for the community, saying, all right, who wants to partner up with this awesome force? Because I'm a great force and I'm a great bet. I really am. I took nothing and made something that we have people from different states and countries who come around. We had Norway just this weekend,
Okay.
which was awesome. I think I had first met you and your lovely wife. I might have shared the guest book with. It's incredible. The draw we get from people from anywhere from just wanting to meet us because of what we've done, having my grand opening being my 19-year wedding anniversary and leaving with nothing, to adopting out 130 cats, and in the year that we've been going, and just so many different realizations. But I'm gonna be looking out to the community, saying, all right, who wants to partner together? Because we will have our menu coming up hopefully soon, which is great. We'll have vegan and gluten-free options. We're actually bringing stuff that no one has around here, which is hard to say because everyone does everything, but no one's quite doing exactly what we're doing yet. Give it a minute, obviously. But we're very excited. So I'll be looking around to collaborate with different people and actually getting myself out there more, because most people don't know about me because I'm still in the trenches. But
Well, and I think it's important to highlight because I think you mentioned this to me, but I think for our listeners and our viewers out here, the restaurant and the rescue side, because a lot of people would be concerned, like, isn't there a cat smell? They have
two separate ventilation systems,
and there's
16 HEPA filters throughout the building, and then there's 2 full rooms between the cats to the cafe. You walk in and my place smells clean. Yeah, I get all the time, where's the cats? Oh, just 2 doors over. And our cats are never in cages. We're an animal shelter that our cats are never in cages, and we keep that clean. And I mean, it is skeleton ran. We're constantly looking for volunteers. We're constantly looking for crew, and it is fun to volunteer there. We're cleaning, and then we're all having ice cream sundaes like an hour later. It is really just a place for people who don't have a place for a community, a place to just, if you don't know anybody, you just moved to this state, come. Meet people, have fun.
Hang out.
Yeah, don't use it as an excuse. There's, I see all the time, not all the time, I don't have time to be on social media very much, but I see when I go on to social media, I want to meet friends, I want to do this, I want to do that. Volunteer at a place. Doesn't have to be my place. Pick a place. Pick an interest, go towards it, and meet people who inspire you and who, help you say, when I don't want to get out of bed, all right, come on, just get out of bed. We're just going to go for like a 20-minute jog. I'm looking for somebody to show up at my place at like 6 a.m. to say, Crystal, let's work out for half an hour and make me do it. I'm looking for more people to inspire me, just like I hope to inspire them, and just be a big force with all kinds of different walks in life and all kinds of different organizations and everything. And I'm super excited.
Well, anything we can do to help, let us know, because I know the Midland community is awesome. And just being supportive to the community around us, like I volunteer time, lots of volunteers time. And it's just about offering that hand.
Exactly.
Right? It's in our human nature, so.
Help put other people up and it will come. How I make it is I put myself last. And I know I get this all the time. Crystal, you have to put yourself first. If you don't put yourself first, you're never going to make it. And for me, I live my life by not putting myself first. And I, once again, know a lot of people say, you've got to do it. But if I'm always helping someone else's, that's true. I don't know how. You're right. Still trying to figure out what kind of music I like. I think I've got it narrowed down to the violin.
There you go.
But it's just, it's eye-opening and it's humbling. And to be here with you guys is very humbling. I'm sitting next to 2 individuals who've got apparently so much physical dedication, so much mental dedication, and I'm doing pretty good with not having cat fur on me right now. But it's just, you guys inspire me to, honestly, like when I get home tonight, I'm thinking I could walk for half an hour tonight. just by being around you and just by feeling your energy. And I want to do that for the community. I want people to want to be around me because of how I make them feel, just like the individuals I choose to be around. Like I said, I feel on cloud nine just being around you guys, and I feel a sense of energy and I feel a sense of camaraderie, and that's a great feeling. And I just want more people to just feel that way about me and to get to know me, because I'm a force. And anyone who's going to be in this with me is a force, because once again, we've adopted out 130 cats since last April 1st, and I had $1 in my name, and we have an animal shelter who just passed its annual inspection with one thing wrong in the whole shelter. And it was like a ledge on one of my window seals in my litter box room. I mean, what an honor it is to have that. But I wouldn't be here without being surrounded by individuals like yourselves, or just for people like yourself to notice me. Because Midland can be very cliquey, but I've noticed as an outsider, I have been welcomed. And a big part of the reason, I think, is because when anyone needed a volunteer, I was there. When Dolores Porty said, I need a volunteer at the Loons game, I got you,
Dolores is awesome.
She's my business mentor. She is. It is an honor to know her. She inspires me.
Talk about a force.
Oh, man, I goosebumps. Yes. If I could do 1/3 of what she accomplishes in her life, I will feel like I have just made such an impact. But that's it. That's who I surround myself with, people who inspire me. I don't dislike anyone. I love if you're helping an animal, I love you guys. Thank you so much. It doesn't matter what rescue you're with. You don't have to necessarily be in my team, because you're still on my team, because we're still making a difference, and that's where I think a lot of the mentality needs to kind of like get a little bit more. But I definitely see so much potential in here. I love being in Midland. I am so thankful to be accepted. I'm so thankful to be uplifted. And it just shows you that even if it is cliquey around here, you don't have to be from around here. You don't have to come from, millions of dollars. You don't. You just have to be genuine. You have to care. You have to put your authentic self first. People have been able to see since October 31st of 2023, when I bought that building, I have walked my walk. I have talked my talk. I have done everything I'm saying I'm going to do, with the exception of maybe working out today, or, eating 3 meals a day. And I feel like that we're just in a very accepting community. And each day that goes on, I find more and more people to inspire me, and more ways to feel accepted and to feel at home, if that kind of ties into your question a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
Well, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you both.
We can talk the fitness stuff. I'll give you some tips later.
Please do. Please do.
Thank you for tuning in. We really, really appreciate everybody that watches weekly, communicates with both of us, how much they enjoy it. It fuels us up. I keep telling you guys that, but it just keeps coming. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Before we sign off here, I want to ask you, what is your circle like for you? Are they uplifting? Are they, what do you guys talk about when you're sitting around a table? Are you gossiping about others, or are you talking about your ideas for the future, or your plans, or what you can do to build other people up? Because that's the groundwork of what your future is going to look like 6 months down the road. If you're talking about people at that table, it's going to be the same thing. If you're talking about ideas, it's just like planting seeds in the ground of the garden. Those seeds are going to start growing. So I recommend you constantly reassess your circle and make sure they're building you up. Thanks again for tuning in. Till next time.
Check out Cozy Cats.